We are rolling.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Rolling.
Keep those legends rolling.
Oh, hey.
Oh my god. Punk Unicorns Podcast.
Season
Punk
3
Unicorns
episode.
Podcast.
Season 3. Getting a little ahead of myself. Hang on, let me put my underwear under my boobs. There it is. Season 2. Episode 4.
We're your hosts, Nikki B.
And I am Mama Kay. And welcome to the Punk Unicorns Podcast, where our guest today will be, believe it or not, the ghost of Richard Simmons.
Ooh, spooky.
But speaking of spooky, guess what's coming up, Nikki B?
The greatest holiday of the entire season.
Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. I've been celebrating since July 5th, but...
Right. I celebrate every morning because I scare the shit out of myself looking in the mirror.
You're like, oop.
But,
a rabbit turd on the floor.
Oh man, a couple pellets here and there. It's kind of like breadcrumbs in the forest. So guys, we need your help. We are planning our Halloween episode.
Yeah, we want you to help us big time.
Oh my gosh, we need you. Hold on. Before we go any further, because I already started singing, we got to get this out the way. Nick and I have this little game going on for our podcast today. And it's a song challenge.
Oh, you guys already know.
During-
Especially everybody I work with.
Right, because if you have watched this before, you know that we randomly burst out in song for no damn reason.
Everybody
Wants to rule the world. So there, nobody got a point because Nick started singing and I enjoyed and I knew the song.
Right.
So if I start singing and Nick doesn't know the song, I get a point. And if he starts singing and I don't know the song, then he gets a point. And if we both know the song, then nobody gets a point. So that's.
Or we both get a point.
Oh, if we know it, we'll both get a point.
Yeah,
That'll work
always
too.
positive.
It's always positive.
So nobody is.
So that's what we're doing throughout the podcast. So let's get that out of the way. So because before one of us starts singing, because we know it's bound to happen before we can get to the explanation. But back to Halloween. We need you to help us figure out what our costumes will be for the podcast that day.
I have already been Aslan, and I've already been Caesar, so those are out of the picture.
And I have a leotard in my drawer right now. I wanted my daughter to be Nancy Kerrigan last year, and I wanted to be Tanya Harding.
Oh, that would have been so perfect.
Wouldn't it? I had the lead. I had her outfit. I had my outfit. No, she wanted to be, and I quote, a witch with big titties.
Oh, girl, she's smart though.
She is. She's too smart for her
A
own
witch
good.
with big titties. That's good. She has life goals.
Yep, she does. She's going places. Hopefully.
That was obviously my goal at 4 as well, and I've hit that one on the nose.
Right. I've grown into a witch with minuscule titties. But hopefully, she doesn't have to use her body in order to get her, a job. Because sometimes when you get a job, you get fired from a job. That can be unfortunate, or could it be a blessing, Nikki B?
It leads you to new roads.
Yes, and Nikki B recently conducted a survey
Mm-hmm.
on the interwebs. Nikki B, would you like to tell us about the survey you conducted on the interwebs?
Okay, so Nick, some of you may remember my post a couple weeks ago about why'd you get fired. So we had some good stories there.
We sure enough did.
Not all of them were exactly firing. Some of them were quits, which same kind of stuff. So let's just say this person, Nick, not fired from, but quit Tanks, which is a local restaurant that everybody loved, and I take all the time in the world to tell you how disgusting it was backstage. Anyway, this Nick said, I loved the servers but hated the kitchen. It was so gnarly gross, and the basement storage area was not even ventilated. The boxes that held the potatoes were moist. Ugh.
He said that word.
Yeah, moist. That's all caps. So
Nick A.
Nick B yelled that. Yelled that. No dehumidifier. Also all caps. Rat shit everywhere in the basement and bunches of quote unquote brining chicken left out at room temperature. And an alcoholic, abusive, psychopath owner's kid. Wow, that was a mouthful. And we all know that archetype of person.
Goodness. Yeah, it's a good thing that you got out of that situation, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
So glad that restaurant closed and none of you could eat there anymore. This one even had a couple replies from Snappy. Snappy says, that's who I was referring to. That and blank had the most disgusting kitchens I have ever worked in. Tanks was running breakfast without a hot water heater once. I told Todd to call the health department. I still don't regret doing that. Fucking nasty.
You have to.
That's right, Snappy. I agree, girl.
You have to.
That's some nasty ass
Hey,
shit.
before we go any further, can we talk about how snappy these are?
Those are cute. They're like sandals, but they're goth and they're
I
BDSM.
know! Garage sale dollar. Go on.
That's hot. I'm imagining that with a long summer dress as you go to church. Okay, let's see. Oh, the same alcoholic psychopath that the Nick was talking about?
Yes.
Always walked around smelling like cat piss.
Oh, I hate the cat piss people.
Their pH
Oh.
balance was so off they smelled like cat piss from being a raging Drunkosaurus Rex.
Also, it wasn't from actual cat piss. It was from the fact that they were
gross.
just gross.
Yeah, they probably had sebum that you could scrape off with one of those Roman scrapers.
That's sebum is my moist. That's my word. That's my moist. Sebum.
Is gross. I have a friend that uses sebum all the time to talk about like cleaning our noses and stuff.
Yeah,
He does produce a lot though.
I
Incidentally.
do down here as well.
Ooh, this is a great one. This is from Tabby. I was fired Christmas Eve from Centerville Speedway, no write-ups, because third shift said he didn't like dealing with me. Hell, I would like dealing with me, but if I was covering your shift 3 times a week, I would.
Yeah,
So
I'd
they
say.
fired me just to have third shift covered. Guess who had to work third shift Christmas Eve and Christmas? Ha ha ha. Guess it was instant karma for the manager.
Sure enough was.
And then the Springboro Speedway hired me right away well, not right away, hired me after I collected unemployment for 3 months. Well, I tell you what, Tabby, that's the way to do it. Fuck them in the butt and then say, okay, I'm done, but I'll come back to work now.
And then go down the street and work at the next location.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll share one of mine,
Yeah, I
and
was
then
like,
we'll go.
right, yeah,
Right.
right.
Well, because I've got a fired and I've got a quit.
Let's do the fired first.
The fired one was okay. So there is this factory in the town that I grew up in. It is called Green Tokai.
I love Green Tokai stories. I already know that place is like on cursed land, so go ahead.
Well, and this was like late 1900s. So I was young, and
I hate saying that, but I also love saying that.
I lasted 3 days. 3 days. And my job was to stand in front of a machine and like every couple minutes push a button. Every couple minutes push a button. I'm like,
You didn't have to like load big panels so they could get
no,
pressed out
like
or
there was a woman here and a woman here, and it flip flopped this way and then went down here, and it was like a whatever you want to
How
fucking
was
call
that
it.
not automated? You were legit just pushing a button.
I was legit just fucking pushing a button.
Ooh.
I just pushed a fucking button. This lady did one thing, it come down here, I pushed the button, and then another lady collected it and put it somewhere else. It was like car parts or some shit. I don't even remember. So
One of our biggest fans does this for a living.
So I had befriended these ladies next to me, and on the third day, we go out to my car, and I was like, hey, you guys want to come out on my car on lunch break and, talk a little bit? And they're like, absolutely.
Take a little trip. Take a little trip with me.
Oh, that's not the same song. You get a point.
Yeah!
That's not the same song. I was going to start singing something else, but it's not the same song. It's not the same song. I just got a case of the Mike Tysons. Anyway. So.
Gosh, Cindy, what's wrong?
I know, it's terrible. So we go out to the car, and they're like, oh, well, since you let us sit in your car, allow us to, produce the unit. And we smoked. And now I'm from a little shit on a plate town outside of Brookville, Ohio, and, my pot comes from like fucking cornfields. And this was my first taste of the chronic. This was my first experience with the chronic now. So
That's
after
always
lunch,
scary. It's kind of like tripping the first time.
oh, it was so much like tripping. So I go back in, and I'm seemingly okay, and I go back to pushing my button, and I'm just like slowly melting into myself, and I'm like, girls, I'm really fucking stoned. And they're laughing. They're like, you be all right, girl. And they're like, we got you. I'm like, no. So I go over to my supervisor, and we'll call her Carl. I don't fucking know her name. It was 100 years ago. I was like, Carl, I need to go home. I'm not feeling well. And she's like, oh, okay. So,
okay.
Yeah, so I leave, and of course, instead of going 5 minutes from where I work home, because if my grandma found it, I was scared to death my grandma was going to find out how freaking high I was off of this pot. And so instead of going home, I drive all the way to downtown Dayton, where my friend's living, down by where Good Samaritan Hospital used to be, because I think she has the answers to every fucking thing at this point, I guess. She's not home. So I'm like, now I'm like, I can't even, like, I can't go home. She's not here. I can't go back to work. What am I going to do? So I sat there on her porch for a little bit. I'm like, well, I cannot go back home. And there's nobody else available right now. Everybody's gone to work. And so I'll just go back to work. Dumbest shit I ever fucking did. So I go back to work, and I go back in, clock back in, and my boss is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm back again. And she's like, oh, so you're feeling better? I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling better. So I go back, stand in front of my machine, start pushing my button again, and that's when wave fucking 2 hit me.
Oh, so you were kind of actually really tripping.
I mean, I was fucking fried for hours.
I was fried from 9 to 5.
What a way to make a living, barely getting by. That's the right song, right?
I know.
So we get both 1 point. So after my second wave hit, I was like, oh, fuck this. I'm going home. I'm done. So I remember walking up to the supervisor and trying to think of something to tell her, because I'm about to tell her I'm fucking sick again or something. I'm about to leave again.
You could have told her you shit yourself.
No, I was honest with her.
No.
I was like, I said, I am not gonna lie. I smoked on my lunch break, and I am fucking ripped, and I just need to go home. And she's like, yeah, and probably not come back. And I'm like, so I went home and pretended to be sick like I should have in the first fucking place. All right.
That's so sad.
It is sad.
Okay, let's see. Marie. Back in high school, in her senior year, she worked at KFC. I too did that, Marie.
Aw.
Oh, you never forget how to fold those wings and break that thigh bone. Anyway, they told us we had to choose between senior trip and prom because they were both on the same weekend. Of course, she went to both and got fired and put on the no rehire list. Good for you, Marie, because KFC is a shitty motherfucking company to work for. I work for them. They're all franchises. Half of them are weird religious franchises, so it's not all bad.
Yeah, you moron.
Right, and I think Marie, I'm just going to guess, is probably about 26 or 27 right now. And,
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Everything will be.
I don't know that song at all. Who
That's
is
Taylor
that?
Swift.
Oh yeah, I'm not a Swift lit.
I'm really not a Swift lit either.
Swift heads?
Swit head.
Swiffers? Are they called
Swiffer
Swiffers?
wet jet. I'm not a Swiffer wet jet, but
Oh, the next person, Diz. It looks like Diz has a couple stories. We'll see which one's the best one. Ooh, that one's. Oh, that's a different person. Okay. Diz writes, pulled off the floor scrubber at the Nutter Center when I worked as a janitor and immediately canned at 9 a.m. after working 12 hours. Girl, that's how they do that shit.
I hate that, man. Don't like, and then they
Get
act
rid of
like
me
they're
the minute I walk.
right. They're acting like they're doing you
call
a
me,
favor.
right, call me and text me. We don't
Yeah.
even have to do this professionally.
No, put
you
my
just
shit
say
in a box,
you're fired,
bitch.
and I'll say bye. I'll bring in my coats. The reason, because he took a local radio T-shirt from X-Fest, which were still in the janitor supply room on the concourse in the building. Basically meaning like, here, we're leaving you guys these T-shirts to give away to your employees. Shirts were found 10 feet from the supply room and moved out of the way. I have a few more. Fired at gunpoint. Fired and arrested. Fired somebody else, even though I didn't have the authority to.
That's like a citizen's arrest at work.
This person actually will make a great guest on the show sometime. They have a lot of very rich life stories.
That sounds as though they do.
Okay, let's do your other one.
The one where I quit. So I worked for a company, I would venture to say 2 or 3 weeks. I was good, I liked it. Like I sat there and I had this like, it looked like a sewing machine and I would take like, I call them motherships, but that's not what they're called. I'm not technical. It's a fucking computer chip thing and I would put like little divots in computer things. They build computers. So I couldn't help but notice that there was this supervisor within my eye shot, and all day long she'd sit there at her desk with her feet up on her desk, just shooting the shit all day long. And I observed this for the several weeks that I was there. And finally one day I said, what is up with that supervisor? And the person that I was talking to said, oh yeah, that's her assumed position at all times. And I'm like, I said, well, she needs to get off her ass and be a team player. What I did not know is there was somebody listening.
That's how it
Always
goes down.
is. And after lunch that day, one of the head honchos was like, hey, can you come in my office? And I walked in the door and sure as shit, there she sat. And I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the big boss was like, you know, why would you say something like that? I said, ma'am, I was literally making an observation and stating an opinion. Like, I was a smart ass back then, but I wasn't a dumbass. Like, there's a big difference between being a smart ass and being obnoxious and being a smart ass and actually being intelligent with what's coming out of your fucking mouth at a young age. And that's what old people, some old people don't like that.
No, they can't stand it when you're witty.
Exactly. So, you know,
excuse me.
And she said, you know, I want to know what makes you think she's not doing her job. I said, because I have observed this since I've been here. I made an observation, I made a statement along with an opinion, and that's mine. And the lady says, well, you know, I wouldn't have gotten promoted to this position if I wasn't a team player. I said, well, what made you stop when you got promoted?
Ooh, snap, Tina.
And she was completely, you know, and she goes, she said, you are not in my unit, so why does it matter to you? I said, because what's going to happen is completely clear. I said, now that we have an issue and I'm significantly younger than you, you're going to put me in your department to make an example out of me. So you'll be my supervisor. I said, I'm not putting myself in that position. So I took my smock off, I laid it on the chair beside her, and I was like, I'm out of here. And I left.
That's hot. Yay! It's like that episode where Roseanne left the plastic factory.
Yeah.
That's what I was envisioning you when you took off your smock.
And I mean, it was. I was so fucking dramatic about it. I was like, you're not going to make an example out of me. I said, I'm going to make an example out of you by getting the fuck up out of here. I'm done.
That's right. Fuck you. Where was that?
McGregor in Brookville, Ohio.
Oh, McGregor. Okay. There's a lot of factories in Brookville.
Mm-hmm. It was where the
And all
old
of them
grocery
hire
store used to be back in the 80s. Yeah, there was a lot of young ones in there when I was in there. And
Wait a minute, you said the grocery store in the 80s?
yeah, it used to be Super Value. That's where the
I
old
re-
McMackins was, and
Oh,
then
I
it moved.
remember
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
McMackins had the first thing in the store when we were kids, before the one in Inglewood.
McVideo.
Yep. It was outside of the grocery store. It wasn't in the grocery. It's now a bank, right?
Well, yeah,
it got
I think
torn
so.
down
It
and
was.
the bank got built
Yes.
on the exact same spot. Because it don't look the same. But there's a
Hold on. Why does this motherfucker, Kyle? I swear to God,
He did
Kyle, you fucking text me every Tuesday during the podcast while we are recording. Why are you being so sweet, saying mommy and sweet birth giver of mine? What is it that you need? It better be an emergency. You better need a motherfucking kidney.
or someone's address to deliver pizza to.
Ooh, that sounds good, like a veggie pizza again. I've lost some weight, so I gotta watch what I'm doing.
I had a good Aldi pizza. I know I had said I was done with Aldi pizzas because they just don't have enough toppings on them. But this one, new favorite pizza topping, mascarpone. Is that how you say that?
Mascarpone, yeah.
Basically like Italian cream cheese. Girl, this
I
was
know.
a pizza that it was like dripping off, following like gelatinous ranch onto the plate.
That stuff that we had
Oh.
last week that you made, the Indian
The
stuff.
samosas.
Mike went and got me some more.
Aren't they delicious?
They are
They're
delicious.
better
And I
than
couldn't get
pizza
nobody to
rolls
try
you are.
them.
They use just chickpeas and turmeric and a delicious
And they
pastry
don't
puff
even
shell.
taste like chickpeas. I'm not a chickpea
No, not
bitch.
it feels like
I don't really
you're
like
eating
hummus.
a yellow mashed potato
Yes.
pizza roll.
Yes. Yes.
Or a triangular one.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your next one. Make sure my
Okay,
kid
so
is okay.
this one is from Allie. I was working at Meadowlark Restaurant. Those of you not from Dayton, that's bougie, upper class people restaurant. There we go. And they were being harassed by one of the kitchen staff for their weight. They kept telling me to stop getting fried food and eating so many Snicker bars. I ended up telling the owners, and the owners fired me for starting shit. That is some bullshit.
That is some bullshit.
Absolute fucking bullshit. First off, I don't know if this person ate Snickers or not, but even if they did, how you gonna tell like a 22-year-old woman, you need to lose some weight? What's that about? Who body shame? Especially
People
some
are
chefs.
so stupid,
I'm
man.
glad chefs are all chunkadunks now, because back in the day they were all skinny, which was weird. And
Well,
it
they
didn't.
did coke.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
now you've got to have a
Cocaine.
chunkadunk cook.
Yeah, if your cook ain't chunkadunk,
Then
then
that
your
means they're
shit
not-
is bull.
Right? They ain't
Mhm.
even trying their own food.
But now, if you're like at a mom and pop like Pancake House, your cook has to look like he's suffering from malnutrition.
Ooh, this one gonna be fired up. Allie again writes, another restaurant I worked at, I found a 2x3 piece of super extremely molded cheese and threw it in the compost bucket. Oh, this part freaks me the fuck out. I read this one before.
Did they take it out?
Yes, the next day I came in and the owner was pissed off about it and gave me the cheese back that he'd cut the mold off of.
Fart on people.
So there was it was a 1x2 piece by then. So 2/3 of it. He fired her over that.
You know what? I'm
She didn't name drop that restaurant. I wish she would have,
I
because
wish she would have too.
that's some shit.
Maybe she will now that when she sees the
That's
thing.
why owners shouldn't run their own restaurants.
I'm gonna video chat him and be like, hey, what's the dumbest reason you got fired?
Okay.
Hey, what's the dumbest reason that you got fired? What is the dumbest reason that you've been fired from a job?
This person that we called randomly, the person we called randomly has never been fired.
What's the worst reason you've had to quit a job? You worked in a nursing home. You had a lunch break and a 10-minute break.
It sounded like it was going to be a good story when it broke up. So, you guys, he's telling the story right now. She's digesting it and going to give you a for dummies version of
I
this.
remember that. I remember that. Yeah, the lady couldn't tell time and you got pissed off because she was dumb. Okay, well, what is it that you want on a Tuesday? I don't have lunch money. Bad connection. Wow, Kyle, bad connection. Anyway. Maybe the world is blind or just a little unkind. Don't know.
When
Sometimes,
you like to,
hold on.
sometimes you gotta go where everybody.
No, it was Punky Brewster.
That's right.
It was Punky
Sometimes
Brewster.
you, why do I?
That was Cheers.
I know, why does my brain keep going right into that? It won't let-
Every time I turn around, I see the girl that turns my world around.
Standing there. Did any of you watch Punky Brewster on the streaming networks? I didn't see any of those.
I watched a few episodes. It just it didn't give you that warm and punky feeling.
Aww.
Well, it's my opinion that it didn't. But anyway, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Seamus says that I once was. Oh look! So my little friends that live here for multiple generations, the chipmunks, just came and said hi to us, and it looks like a little fat chupacabra, miniature. It's so cute.
He was just sitting there watching us. Now he's under Lynn's claw.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Oh,
Okay.
little fart nugget.
Sorry, we saw a chipmunk.
Okay, so Seamus says, I was once fired because I took a day off for a wedding, and the person who was covering me decided they didn't want to close. The manager called me at 9 p.m. and demanded that I come in and finish the shift at 9 p.m. at night.
That's not your problem.
9 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
I told her there was no way I could do that because I had been drinking. She said, come in or I could find another job. Guess that Seamus did not go to work.
I would hope not, Seamus, because you cannot put your life at risk for drinker and driver to go to work because that ain't your fucking problem. You already done put your day in. What happens after that is up to the that's what always made me mad about management. You gotta find it's your
job
right.
to go do that when everybody else is
exactly. If I need a day off, it's my job to tell the manager, and it's the manager's job to fucking cover it, not me.
Okay, this next one could be a whole episode because
Ooh, my tits are a tingle.
I wasn't fired, but my hours were completely slashed right before Christmas for being pregnant. This is from Tabby earlier. I was told my water breaking was a health hazard. Okay, every woman I know that has a child works all the way up to the beginning of the 9th month usually.
Usually.
Most of them take less than a month off.
And here's the thing about that. I would have some sort. I was just talking to my husband about this thing called malicious compliance the other day. It's where like you do everything that they tell you to do it, but you do it like off the chain type shit. And for the record, your water breaking being a hazard, all you have to do all day long is walk around with one of them fucking caution wet floor signs just in case, bitch.
Just
What?
leave it out. Just
Like,
leave it out, yeah.
Just leave it out down the hallway because you just never know when it's gonna happen.
And mind you, this person's a professional child haver. I guarantee you that she knows about 45 minutes before it happens and it's going to happen.
Wow, that'd be.
Like a superpower, like, ooh,
Yeah.
I just got a little tingle. It's about to snap.
So we're gonna read a few more of these, but before we continue, I have at the end of last week's episode, I told you. I hope you can't see me scratching my butt cheek, but I had told you that we had a special guest today, the ghost of Richard Simmons.
Yes!
And so we have this spirit box in my phone, and I'm going to turn it on here shortly to see if we pick up on any sort of entities pertaining to one Mr. Richard Simmons. So I'm going to go ahead and get this smart box ready, the voice box. My other butt cheeks having sympathy itches. And Nick's going to go ahead with the next story.
Okay, so, this person writes, I was fired from my last salon in 2020 for taking COVID too seriously. Now, regardless of whether y'all believe in it or not, people are right in your face when you are getting your hair done. Regardless of COVID, it's probably not a bad idea to wear a mask when you go in to get a haircut. Especially if you around motherfucking kids all the time. Because all they do is spread disease. Little monsters. Anyway, I made them nervous for wearing masks and required my clients to wear them. They didn't take any precautions at all. Was glad to bounce. Now I'm where I need to be. I would thank them if that fucking salon was still operating. I'd call that karma. Because you know most public businesses closed for a few weeks.
Richard Simmons just said sweat
Okay,
cleanses the soul. I just heard Richard Simmons out of the ghost box say, sweating cleanses the soul. So it really is, Richard. Maybe that's like a poke to the sweating to the oldies.
Oh my God, you guys.
He's here with us.
So we might just randomly hear him say things.
Yeah.
Throughout the, okay.
Yeah.
Richard Simmons, if you hear, say something, Richard.
Aldi's.
Aldi's?
We were just talking about Aldi's.
Headband?
Chub rub.
What's a chub rub? Is that what I think it is?
No, Nick, it's not what you think it is. Chub rub is like when you're sweating to the oldies
Uh-huh.
and your chubbies rub it together and then you get chafed.
Oh, that's what I call Kings Island thighs.
Chafing! He said chafing. He said chafing. I heard it.
We couldn't fake this stuff, you guys.
Richard, he's here with us.
Praise the Lord. Although the Lord's still here. Oh, that was it for these stories.
Oh, that was it for the stories.
Yeah, I thought we had a couple more, but we don't.
Well, that's okay. Let's see. If Richard, do you have anything else you'd like to Ouch. He said, I am not gay.
Oh wait.
Oh, wait.
Now he's saying he is gay. Are you gay?
Ouch. We know he felt. I am not gay.
Are you sure?
He's gay.
Okay.
Thank you. We figured. It's a rainbow
Oh,
day.
it is a
Richard.
rainbow day. Thank you, Richard.
Aw.
Oh my God! Shut the door. He just mentioned the episode.
He shouted
we're
us.
on.
He shouted us out from heavens. Step away from the line.
This house is clean. That was a good one. Thank you, Richard.
Aw, Richard. It was so
Richard,
nice for you to join us.
Feel free to come on the podcast.
The podcast anytime you like.
The podcast.
The Perdcast, love it.
The
Thirst and how
Perdcast.
the fish. Guys, there's some big news in the land of the punk unicorns. We have found ourselves a sponsor,
Oh, that's right.
and we are going to shout them out. Shout! Shout! Let it all out! These are the things we can do. Oh, I got the words wrong, so I don't get a point.
Oh no!
You get the point. We're tied again because I got the words wrong. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, are you tired of giving birth to teethless babies?
I know I would be if I was a woman.
You know,
They
I
have the
have
ugliest toothless smiles. It's like,
I
please, baby, don't
breastfed
smile.
2 of those little. Well, a couple of them I had breastfed, and I'm like, look, you guys need to get teeth, but don't get teeth too fast because then they'll use the teeth to bite your titty nippies off. Well, have we got a dentist for you? Big Dick Dallas in Louisiana, right next to the Love Shack. He makes dentures for newborns.
Look at them baby teeth.
Look at that.
They're like little chiclets.
And when it's time for their real teeth to come through, you just pop them sons of bitches out, let them maintain with their baby teeth. And as they fall out, you may have to use them as partials if you're an accident-prone child, maybe.
Like
But
the ones that lose a tooth way too early and then they don't
Right,
have one
right.
for 8 years.
I have one of our cheer girls lost all these and all these to where all she has is her fangs, and she literally looks like a little damn vampire. She could use some of these because she scares me sometimes.
They don't get her clippers.
Oh, they need a clip.
Maybe
Grind
we
them
could,
down.
Maybe we could fit these to her.
These are a little small. These are the preemie size. So the baby should be around
Here, make it
approximately
bite my finger.
4 to 6 pounds, maybe.
That's gonna hurt your nipples though.
Right. Well, that's the whole point. We give the baby teeth in order to wean them from the titty nip quicker and to save you from having to have it surgically put back on with staples and or
Because I'm
stitches.
just saying they might start eating you if they
Well,
have these.
if we give them the teeth now at birth, then they can start eating corns on the cobses and
That's
stuff.
true,
And more
because
vegetables.
that first 2 years before you can eat corn on the cob are like the worst 2 years. of
Right,
your
and
life.
you have to feed them. They can't feed themselves.
You're forever taking bites of it yourself, like.
Yeah, and then feeding
chew it up,
them.
and then go.
Like a
Here,
fucking.
babe.
Yep, exactly. It's
Mm.
exactly like you're just like a freaking. Get some dentures from Big Dick Dallas in Louisiana for your dummy ass baby.
And these are not cadaver teeth.
No. So, act now on the website and put in our name as for the coupon code Punk Unicorns, and you will receive 10% off of your purchase and free shipping.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add? That was
That was a really good first sponsorship ad.
Was.
It was hot. And speaking of hot, you guys,
It's 150
it's
degrees.
like 5,000 degrees, and somehow we have both managed to not really. I've got titty sweat, and I've definitely got fupa and belly sweat, but I don't
I have yet to feel anything
I
crawl
need-
down my crack.
Yeah, I have no crack sweat. I have no head sweat. It's nice.
No, it's very nice.
Plus, we have one of those industrial fans that I know you OCD freaks can hear in the background.
Yeah, that's very lulling to me. That's like,
For real, it's because it reminds us of the spaceship. We're like,
Yes.
oh, the sweet sounds.
yes.
Okay, we love you, bitches. Stay chunky, stay punky.
And some of you guys stay hunky.
Yeah, and don't fist without lube. No.
It will ruin your day. And it's the Pumpkin
Unicorns
Boys
Podcast.
Podcast. We'll see your ass next week.
Dun, dun. Thank you. Oh my god.
We tied. We won each other.
Oh, yes.
What's the prize of it? We hug each other.
Yay!
Shamizel, Shamazel.
Flash and Bassam first
Schmurfenegin. No.
Ooh! As I can't walk. As I can't walk. Oh, it stopped at 10 after.